Hey, it's me. There are moments when it's helpful to pause and look at where we are on this path, both the big picture and the small steps. And that's what I want to do today in this message. Maybe something in this will speak directly to the place that you're in right now, especially if you've been walking this path of inner work with some real intention. You've probably heard me say this before, and you'll hear me say it again. The work starts with being willing to see what's going on inside us, beyond the surface, beyond the stories we tell ourselves. Unless we get honest about what we feel, what we believe, what we carry, we stay disconnected from the part of us where life really flows from. And that's not just a nice idea, it's where the shift happens, where things start to breathe again. Maybe you've been doing this work for a while. Maybe you're newer to the work. Wherever you are, there's something important about stopping and asking yourself, how much have I really seen? How much have I been willing to feel? How much of what's running me is still in hiding? You may be at a place where you can see the parts of yourself that used to be off limits. The anger, the cruelty, the fear, the selfishness. And that matters. Even partial honesty makes a huge difference. It opens a crack. You stop needing to defend all the time. You stop pretending to be better than you are. And oddly enough, that's when you start to become stronger, more real, more whole. When you can say, yes, I hate. Yes, I'm scared. Yes, I want and I don't want. Yes, I'm fragile. You start to notice something. Those feelings don't swallow you. They don't destroy you. They make you more alive. The hate, when seen, softens. The fear, when felt, begins to dissolve. The weakness, when accepted, becomes strength. The reason this work is so hard at the start is because we think there's something inside us that's too much. That if we look too closely, we're going to find something terrible or something shameful or something unfixable. And so we build layers around it. Stories, distractions, defenses. When underneath all that is usually just pain that never got to move. That's really what evil or destructiveness is. A defense against pain. Something inside us says, this hurts, I can't take it. And so it closes, lashes out, escapes. The defense becomes worse than the original wound. We end up recreating what we didn't want to feel again and again. This is why a big part of the next step, if you're ready, is to feel what you didn't feel the first time around. The pain you pushed away. The sadness or rage or loneliness you decided was too much. Maybe you've started doing that already. You've dropped in and felt what was buried. You know the difference it makes. It's not just remembering, it's re-feeling fully and with presence. The mind wants to jump in and explain everything. It'll say, well, I guess I must have felt that way because of what happened when I was 5. And sometimes that helps, but only if it opens the door to feeling more. If it becomes a way to avoid the feeling, it turns into another defense. Knowing and feeling are not separate. They're two sides of the same current. If you only know without feeling or feel without knowing, something stays split. And you have to check in honestly and ask, am I using one to avoid the other? There are still many ways we all block the full experience of what we carry. The parts of us that don't want to feel, keep those blocks in place. You can start to lower those walls though. You can bring awareness to where you shut down. You can begin to let it move. And once you do, the energy that was stuck there starts to flow again. A lot of what we call laziness is actually that stuck energy. It's not a character flaw. It's not moral failure. It's just energy that isn't moving because it's sitting on top of unfelt pain. Stagnation is a result, not a cause. And when you don't feel your feelings, you start to shut down. You might look active on the outside when on the inside you're frozen. You might even long for a life of stillness or quiet, thinking it's spiritual, when there's a difference between quiet aliveness and deadened stagnation. Real stillness has energy in it. It moves, it breathes. If it's flat and empty, it's not really stillness. It's more shut down. When you're not feeling your feelings, your thinking also tends to get stuck. You form beliefs based on old pain. You see life through that lens. These beliefs sit deep inside, and you may not even know they're there. They shape how you act, what you expect, and how you relate. Until you face the original feeling, the belief won't shift. This is how we keep reliving the past. We get caught up in the same patterns, the same relationships, the same internal reactions. It all repeats until we have the courage to stop and feel what we've been running from. You can't skip this part. There's no shortcut. The only way out is through. If you don't let yourself feel it, it stays in your system. It poisons your mind, your body, your relationships. Once you go in, once you feel it all the way through, things start to change. Not because you try to change them, because something deeper has been touched and released. You might tell yourself you don't have time or energy to feel. The truth is, nothing else you do will matter if you don't do this. This is the work. This is why you're here. So, how do we start? Well, one way is through focused meditation. Sitting with the intention to go inward, to stop going around your feelings and finally go through them. You can say something like, I want to feel what I haven't felt. I want to face what I've been avoiding. And that honest intention changes things. It calls something in. Guidance begins to show up. And the stuckness starts to loosen. This, of course, takes trust. You have to believe, or at least be willing to believe, that going in won't destroy you, that you won't be swallowed, that there's something good on the other side. That's the jump into the so-called abyss, the place where it feels like if you let go, you'll fall and never stop. But when you finally jump, you realize you are held, you float, and you're more alive than you've ever been. Ask yourself, do I really believe that what's at the core of me is evil or bad? Or can I trust that underneath all the distortion is something good, something real, something worth meeting? That question matters. Because if you believe the core of you is wrong, you'll keep fighting the feelings that would bring you back to it. And then you'll never get to know the part of you that is steady, safe, and full of life. So let your meditation be simple. Say what you want. Ask to see where you avoid. Ask for support to face it. Ask to feel what you haven't let yourself feel. Say, I don't want to pretend anymore. I don't want to keep hiding. That kind of honesty makes space for real movement. The shame we carry, the embarrassment about being human, being hurt, being messy, can keep us stuck for years. And it often shows up as fear. We say we're afraid to feel, when really we're ashamed to be in pain. We think it says something about who we are, that if we hurt, it must mean we're broken. That's not true. The feelings you've avoided are not dangerous. What makes them feel dangerous is how long they've been buried. The longer they stay hidden, the more twisted they become, and the more likely they are to come out in places they don't belong. If you let yourself feel the thing you're afraid of, you'll find that it passes, it moves, it softens. The pain becomes manageable. The fear gives way to something else. And underneath it all is your real center, that place of peace that isn't trying to get away from anything. It's always been there. It's just been waiting for you to come home. Love you. Connect soon.